Hi, I'm Eric Peterson. I'm a relationship coach from skillofattraction.com. And today's attraction tips video is getting advice from family and friends is a bad idea. Now, I just realized that I said this is an attraction tips video. This really isn't an attraction tip per se, but it will definitely help you in your dating and relationship life. Now, it's a bad idea to get your dating and relationship advice from family and friends unless they already have a healthy, loving relationship that you admire. I mean, the truth is, most people don't know squat about what a healthy, loving relationship really is, nor do they know the behaviors to maintain it. I mean, have you ever noticed how so many people are involved in miserable relationships or toxic relationships? Maybe there's a lot of arguing or miscommunication or passive-aggressive behavior. I mean, the truth is, many people get involved in relationships strictly by accident, and they really just have never had a relationship better than that, so they end up settling, and sometimes for life. I mean, depending on who you ask, 50 to 65% of marriages end in divorce. And the majority of the rest that are still married are just miserable. I mean, they're staying in their marriage out of fear, or they're staying in the relationship out of fear, whether it be financial reasons, sticking it out for the kids or until the kids get older, or whatever the case may be. The truth is, they settle in these relationships and end up spending their whole life never ever experiencing, a true, healthy, loving relationship that's full of passion and love and excitement. And it's really sad. A majority of the relationship advice that you hear about or read about is really just passed along or regurgitated from other people or other places. I mean, magazines or books, and sometimes people get their advice from TV shows or movies, which are actually the worst place you could actually get your relationship advice from, because it's all fantasy. Plus, we only tend to share the negative parts or the hard parts of a relationship when we're talking to our family and friends. I mean, how often do you ask for advice when your relationship is going great? I mean, we don't. So when we talk to these people, we're really only giving them just a little tiny glimpse into our relationship, and it's the negative parts, which obviously they can't make a really good judgment based off of just that little bit, and especially just the negative parts. I mean, they never really get to hear about the parts that are just beautiful and special that make the relationship so great. I mean, really, why else would you be in it if it was just all bad news? It makes sense why we would go to our family or friends for advice on our relationships, because we trust them and we love them, and we want to hear feedback from someone that isn't emotionally involved in the relationship itself. But the thing you have to remember is they are emotionally involved with you. So their intentions may be good, but they don't want to see you hurting. So they're either going to tell you what you want to hear, or maybe give you some sugar-coated answer so they don't hurt your feelings, or they're going to tell you what they would do in this particular situation based off of this little bit of information that they have, or they have an agenda of their own, whether it's conscious or unconscious. And what I mean by that last part is that some people are just miserable and they have no intentions of getting out of their own misery. So they're going to project their own misery onto you. So they do have some sort of an agenda to keep you down. I mean, you know how the old saying goes, misery loves company. And also, some people are just very judgmental. So if you're involved in some sort of unorthodox relationship, they're just going to tell you whatever they have to get you out of that relationship, because they simply don't agree with it. They don't care if you're happy or not. They don't agree with it, and they want you out. Another thing you have to remember is when you're getting advice from your family or friends, it's their story, not yours. So when you do go to them for advice, they're going to tell you what they would do or how they would handle the situation. And like I said before, they don't know all the good and bad things in your relationship, and they don't know all the dynamics in your relationship, and they certainly don't know what's in your heart. So they're going to guide you along on what their path would be. Or they're just going to flat out tell you what to do. And it's usually the wrong advice because, like I said, it's their story and how they would handle things based on their own life. Now, another option could be going to a professional therapist or a psychologist. And this is a little better than going to your family or friends. And the reason why is because these people are really overtrained in giving relationship advice. I mean, quite frankly, they don't know what to tell you since most of their training is in like mental health issues or attachment issues. In one of the online relationship forums that I hang out in and I help people, I give them advice, there's a psychotherapist that hangs out in there too, and he's always giving conflicting advice to what I'm giving. And the reason why is he just doesn't understand all the subtle ins and outs of how relationships work. And these poor people that are there strictly to get, some quick relationship advice, they're getting steered wrong by this guy because, he's asking things, well, how do you feel? And, how would you handle this? And they just want straight up advice right now. And the advice that he's giving them, it really gets them all twisted around. And they come back a little later and the whole relationship has blown up. And, I just wish that they would have followed what I suggested they do. But of course, they're going to listen to the guy who, has degrees in this. I'm not a doctor, but I do understand how all this works between men and women and even same-sex couples. I mean, a lot of these therapists come to guys like me to help get through their relationship issues because we understand the subtle actions and behaviors that cause people to act and react the way they do within, a romantic relationship. So really, what it boils down to is if you're having problems in your dating life or relationship life, you really should come to a dating coach or relationship coach or consultant, depends on what they call themselves. I'm not saying you have to come to me directly. I mean, this isn't a sales pitch, but you should go to someone. And I know it costs money, but actually I will answer your emails for free, and unless it's an emergency. So if that is the case, you could just head over to my website at skillofattraction.com. Click on the contact tab and there's an email form there and it will shoot me a message and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I mean, just so you understand, I do have to help out my paying clients first. So if you do have an emergency, if you click on the coaching tab, there are a couple different options there that you could select for emergency email coaching. And that's really it for this video. So I will catch you on the next one. Have a good one.